89.1. We are going straight to our brutally honest slot. And now let us start here. Let us start with our city, Johannesburg. We see Joburg water struggling. It is in crisis. They are failing. They are having delays in maintenance and repairs, burst pipes in the city, vandalism, a whole lot of things. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, let's put this into proper context. If you would allow me to give context to this. Let's start with the importance of water. Water is a basic necessity for life, right? So it is essential for human survival, playing a critical role in various aspects of our life, from health and well-being, economic and social aspects of our life, as well as our spiritual life. So we need water for our physical health, especially for our hydration, digestion, waste removal, and skin health. We need it for our brain and our mental function. We use water for economic and social purposes. For example, food production, energy generation, industrial processes, and recreation. Water also balances our ecosystem, supporting biodiversity and influencing weather patterns. On the aspect of spirit, of our spiritual life, we use it for cultural purposes when performing rituals. People go to churches where they get, to be told that they must go and draw water, and they pray over it. Some travel as far as to the oceans to draw a bucket of water or a bottle of water and bring it home. Because we have such beliefs. So that's the significance and the importance of water. So like air, water is both a natural resource and a critical source of life. It is one resource that no household can survive without it. So I say this to underline the importance of water. So when municipalities fail to supply water, they are actually putting the lives of their citizens at risk, because all these aspects that I've outlined would be affected by a lack of water. So we don't have a Joburg water crisis. We've got a South African water crisis. And that is the context I want to provide. Because water, the crisis in South Africa is quite severe. So we have low rainfall, we have a lot of leakages, we have infrastructure that is aging, that is not maintained, and that compounds our water crisis. So if you consider, for instance, the issue of water shortage, we receive large volumes of our water from Lesotho because we don't have sufficient water supply and reservoirs in South Africa. And that explains why when Mandela went away on an international visit around 1998, and Buthelezi was acting as the president, South African Defence Force was deployed to Lesotho to intervene when the people of Lesotho were threatening to occupy the water supply reservoirs in Lesotho that supplies water to South Africa. So we depend on Lesotho a lot for our water supply, especially here in Gauteng. Now, the crisis that we're witnessing, it's a challenge, it's a symptom of a lack of maintenance of public infrastructure. So in Sentin, what we have witnessed over the past few weeks, where there are sewer spillages, best waters, no repairs, and so on, it's as a result of a lack of prioritization on the maintenance of our infrastructure. So let me tell you something about this crisis in the city of Joburg, how it manifests itself. We have maybe before we go there, let's start here. So our problems have been, there have been 3 cases that have highlighted that we have a crisis waiting. One is the threat of cholera in Hammanskraal.
Yes.
Remember the water problems in Hammanskraal?
Yes, I do.
We also had an earlier problem in Hartebees. This invasive plant that is there is a reflection of a lack of prioritization and the greed of tenderprenuers who, when they are given a tender to do the treatment of the dam, they supply inadequate chemicals for the treatment of water. Now we have a dam that has been invaded, half of it is gone with the invasive hyacinth plant. So those issues highlight the crisis that we have. So we have a crisis of administration. So in the case of Joburg, you have got an imbalance of the capex budget and the operational budget.
Yeah.
So we are having a huge budget on operations and a small budget on capex, which is supposed to be responsible for the maintenance of infrastructure. So about 1.2 billion is reserved out of the, I think it's about 17 billion that the Joburg Water estimates to collect as part of its revenue. Only 1.2 billion gets used for maintenance. And then you have got a huge budget that goes to OPEX, which is the operational part of the... So how do we expect that we won't have this crisis if we're not maintaining this infrastructure? So all this is man-made because of a lack of prioritization by the government, the government that has been there for the past 30 years. So the issue of infrastructure backlog is what is besetting our problems here. So the crisis we have, these are symptoms of one, an aging infrastructure. We are not maintaining we are losing a lot of water through leakage. And South Africa is also not we don't have a huge rainfall. And that is why we had day 0 in Cape Town a few years ago.
Yes.
But they managed to move from that crisis and now they are on a positive. But Joburg faces that very same day 0 one day.
So what does this say now about, the future of water availability, maybe if I may call it that, in Johannesburg?
So we have done an exercise already as if we were preparing for this to come. This experience of load shedding, we're going to replicate it with water. There's going to be water rationing in South Africa, especially here in Gauteng. There's going to be water rationing. So you will be told that you can't use so much liters of water. In Cape Town, by the way, people were told to bath in the shower and keep the water that they are bathing from. So you must shower with a bucket in the in your shower.
I still remember Helen Zille demonstrating.
Yeah, and that you must take one shower in 2 days. Such kind of thing. That is what is awaiting. That is what is awaiting. And the lack of water, the other challenge, is that Eskom depends a lot on water for their electricity generation. So you'll have a double jeopardy, where if we're not supplying water to Eskom, we will not have electricity, and you will also, without electricity, you can't pump the water into the reservoirs. What a crisis. But these politicians, what they focused on was to say, we have supplied, we had a growth in access to piped water. But they didn't focus on maintenance of infrastructure. So they will put pipes and count and do the checklist to say, now we have how many millions of people that have access to water. They don't mean the drop. They mean that they've put a pipe. And once they've put that pipe and they leave, they don't maintain that infrastructure. And the case in point is Joburg, where there is a serious imbalance between the capex budget, which is the budget that focuses on the maintenance of infrastructure, which is so low, and it is lower. It's much lower than the salary bill. The salary bill of Joburg Water as a municipal entity, it's 1.5 billion per year.
Hayi kunzima arafeta kama mtu akarekishe re abuya re tlo ba re lebeletse tse dingwe tša dipolitiki. Joburg ya sokola ka nnete. What is it really, Brutus, that is causing all this? Is it because of the people that they hire in these entities, or what is it?
Yeah, the entities, the municipal entities, they have been captured as places to dispense patronage, where they deploy cadres in the boards of these entities, as well as cadres in the management of the entities, and that is what has actually crippled these entities. So we need to go back to do skills audits if we really want these things to be professional, to be efficient, and to do what they are meant to do. So without that, the politicization of these entities, it's quite a serious problem. Now we also have another problem that is part of this politicization, is the tenders. They are given to people who, some of them have no experience whatsoever in water issues. Remember the case in Amanskraal, where the water treatment plant was given to Edwin Sodi. And for more than 10, 15 years now, that water treatment plant is not working. Because the tender was given not to an engineer, it was given to a tenderpreneur who has no interest whatsoever. And the people of Amanskraal have been drinking water with, with high risk of cholera there, with this E. coli and so on. So the other thing is, now people are digging their boreholes, because when people lose confidence in the state, they go private.
Yeah.
So people are digging boreholes. But there is a challenge there, because in the rural areas especially, where people are using pit latrines and so on, there's a study done by two universities, the University of Venda and I think it was TUT, which found that about 33% of the samples that they took of underground water from the boreholes had this E. coli bacteria. And this bacteria causes cholera. So people are drinking that water because there's no water supply. Remember, there was a big tender in Guyana, and the minister then of water affairs, it was Nomvula Mkonya. Billions were pumped into that, just like Alexander Renewal. There's nothing to show. So we have such a crisis. Another problem is this emerging trend of so-called mafias. So we now have water tank mafias. What do? They started there in KZN. They would stop water from the taps and break water pipe supplies, so that they can be given emergency tenders to supply water through the tanks. And with these tanks that are roving, that are moving around in the city of Joburg and Sandton, there are politicians that are benefiting out of this. So they are denying people water. They don't maintain so that they can have evergreen tenders to supply water through tanks. And what water are they supplying? This water that they're supplying, some of it is not even treated. Further risking the lives of the citizens.
Yeah, mafia state, right?
We are descending into the abyss.